Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing you another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, The Flash, and this is not Barry Allen, this is Wally West from DC's Rebirth comics. If I'm not mistaken, I believe The Flash had sacrificed himself during Crisis, and then Wally West took the mantle. I think this figure is a Walmart exclusive, but I'm not certain of that. I know he's only been popping up at Walmart so far, but I'm not certain if that's how it's going to be in the long run. So let's go and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, The Flash, Wally West. This ain't your kid Flash anymore. This is Wally West as the regular Flash. Here he is in the package. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card, and then a bunch of Speed Force effects, which are recycled from the Rebirth Flash. One side of the package, The Flash, Wally West from DC's Rebirth. Other side, The Flash, Wally West. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here he is, surrounded by Speed Force energy. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we have this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, and then 6 Speed Force effects. These are reused for the Rebirth Flash, but that's fine by me. At least they're cast in different colors. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Wally West. He's more known to me as Kid Flash from back in the day, but this is the regular Flash version. At one point, Barry Allen sacrificed himself, Wally West took over, then Barry Allen came back, they were both Flash, then Barry Allen retired. I don't even know what the current canon continuity is, but it's cool having him as an adult Flash. You could use him as a main Flash. You can use him as a main Flash working alongside Barry. A lot of different options. So let's take a look. I believe I had read that there was also going to be a gold label version of him done in the more standard Flash costume. Not for sure though. So looking at his head here, definitely different Barry Allen. Hair is brown, kind of going a little bit crazy. It looks very nice the way it was sculpted. Parted down the side. He's got 2 lightning bolts on the side, silver. He looks, I don't know, a little weird on his face. The jaw, the eyes, just kind of thin. I don't know, a little awkward. Frowny face. Going further down, suit looks good. Not really any texturing. You got some on the side here. Different areas of the suit, some up here. The Flash symbol. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Now he doesn't really have a running hand, he's got a fisted hand, and this one is kind of a running hand. Could probably also grip something. He looks good. Happy to add another DC Rebirth hero to the roster. And just a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think the hair looks really good, kind of captures his personality. Just something about the jaw and the mouth just looks a little off. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. Black perfect circle. Says DC on the bottom. It's got one peg for the peg holes on his feet. Very thin. Very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. Now I really like the fact that it's showing the comic version of Wally West Flash. I personally prefer when they show the source material versus just showing the action figure on the collector's card. He's running with Speed Force around him. The Flash, Wally West from DC's Rebirth. On the back side, there's a description. Pretty nice. Talks about how he became Kid Flash and then how he became the adult Flash. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his Speed Force effects. He's got a total of 6 of them. This large piece at the top goes on his back. Medium piece on his foot. I believe these 2 are going to go into his legs, and these 2 on his arms. The pieces are made with a semi-transparent blue color, and this larger one is even articulated. Here are his Speed Force effects, next to the yellow and red versions that came with the Rebirth Flash, the Rebirth Wally West, and the Rebirth Reverse Flash. Great reuse, McFarlane. Here's Wally West, just standing in front of you. And here he is, in a running pose. Then, in a running pose with the Speed Force effects attached. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.0 inches tall, which you can translate to about 18 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up about that far, down about that far. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other, giving him a good amount of personality. Shoulders, ball joints, goes out a little bit more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got the McFarlane butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, just increasing the range of motion a little. Bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbow, goes all the way in. His wrist, his ball on it can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. Ball joint his torso, rotate around, go forward and back. Another ball joint his waist, rotate around, go forward and back, giving him a pretty good range of motion of his torso. It really helps give him a good running pose. You can tilt him back, tilt his head back, have him leaning forward. Very nice. Legs completely does the splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is pretty much non-existent. Legs go forward all the way. Back, not too much. Double jointed knees below that. Then his ankle here, his ball in it, goes forward and back. Can rotate, can tilt, rock, and toe articulation. Now let's switch to a different city type setting, so Flash can stretch his legs and run around. Here's Wally West, running through the streets of Central City. Just a closer look at him running down the street. And here's a side view. Wally West taking up the mantle of the Flash. And one last shot of him running toward you. Wally West and Barry Allen meet up. Two Flashes are better than one. And here they are, both running through the Speed Force together. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the all-gold Anti-Crisis Wonder Woman. I believe these figures are both Walmart exclusives. I could be wrong about Wally. They're both popping up right now at the same time at Walmart stores, although they're quite unrelated. Then, next to the Rebirth Barry Allen Flash, you could definitely have these two guys interacting. And here, next to the Injustice 2 Flash. Then, next to the Flash from Zack Snyder's Justice League. And then, next to the Justice League Unlimited animated Flash. Here are all the different Flash figures McFarlane has made so far. Although this Flash is Wally West, he's still a Flash. There are a total of 8 of them, and we have the TV Flash coming real soon. And here, next to some other McFarlane speedsters, we have Red Death and Reverse Flash. There's an Injustice 2 Reverse Flash coming real soon. Mine is actually supposed to arrive tomorrow. And there's also a Godspeed coming up real soon. Here are all the different Speed Force figures McFarlane has made. A lot of love for speedsters. Taking a little while, but they're finally catching up. And with the 3 other speedsters that I previously mentioned coming within pretty much the next month, it's going to be a pretty big collection. I would welcome a more traditional Kid Flash, an Impulse, and a Zoom. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to a couple of Lex Luthor figures. Then, next to a couple of Lobo figures. Here he is, next to Superboy Prime and the Birds of Prey Harley Quinn. Then, with a couple of Mortal Kombat 11 Jokers. And here he is, with the Batman Beyond Unmasked Batwoman and the Atomic Edition of Blight. And now, with a couple of General Zod figures. Then, with the Future State Batman and Dark Detective. Here's Wally West, with the Rebirth Batman and the Infinite Frontier Robin. Then, next to the Batman The Dark Knight Returns, Superman vs. Armored Batman 2-pack. And here he is, with the Lois and Clark Black Suit Superman and the Rebirth Martian Manhunter. Then, with the Death of the Family Joker and the Justice League Endless Winter Aquaman. And here, with Ultraman and the Zur-En-Arrh Batman. Here's his Flash, next to McFarlane's 2 most recent mega figures, Titan Joker and Clayface. Now, here's Wally West, next to the Batman 3 Jokers wave. Then, next to the Gotham Knights figures. And here he is, with McFarlane's The Batman collection. Then, with the Batman The Dark Knight Returns Collective Build a Horse Wave. And finally, next to the Justice League Endless Winter, Collective Build a Frost King Wave. Now let's check them out, next to some other Flash figures. And we'll start off by looking at them with the only other Wally West figure that I have. This is the version of Wally West I'm most familiar with, old school Kid Flash. And here he is, next to all the different McFarlane Flash figures. Then, next to a Noble Toys Bendy Flash figure. And here he is, next to all of my DC Direct and DC Collectibles Flash figures. Then, with all of my Mattel Flash figures. Here's this new Wally West Flash, next to all of my 6 and 7-inch Flash action figures. Wally West is the only one of these that's not Barry Allen. Now let's check him out, next to some other Speed Force figures. Here he is, with my Kid Flash figures. Then, next to my Reverse Flash figures. Here he is, next to Zoom. And then, next to Red Death. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect and work way smaller. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, with some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, he's a pretty nice figure. It's a normal, standard, Rebirth version of the Wally West Flash, and for that, I thank you, McFarlane. This guy's accessories are pretty nice. It's another re-release of the same Speed Force effects, but it works. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. I don't have any issues there. His articulation is pretty good. Only complaint I would have, needs a little bit more of thigh articulation, some sort of thigh swivel, rotation. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. I'm enjoying this figure, and he's a regular guy, which is very much up my alley. I do like the Dark Knight's metal stuff, but I really prefer to get normal, standard Rebirth figures. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.